Hello folks and welcome to F1 Live, your post-race show coming to you live from the paddock here at the Red Bull Ring. Charles Leclerc is back on the top step at the podium for the first time since Australia. Pietro Fittipaldi joins me to go through the race, as does Alex Albon. And Alex, it was so close to points, man. But at least you got to have a whole Grand Prix in the new car. How did it feel? How did it drive, given that you were so close to points in the end?
Yeah, tricky one out there. You know, obviously it's frustrating when you're in the points and then you just miss out. As a team, you know, we're hungry for points. That's our goal every race. So yeah, it is what it is. I think we missed a little bit of pace out there today. Tyre deg was a thing, and when you have to match the people around you and you can't back off the pace, you can't manage your tyres, you're always going to eventually deg. And I knew when I was driving around there, I was like, I'm driving about, you know, it's not much. It's 2-3 tenths a lap that you're hurting the tyres in terms of you're out driving what the tyres can really do. It pays you back in it, and it bit me. So anyway, yeah, you have to take the risk, you know, especially when you're running P10. You got to give it everything. We gave it everything today, and we just missed out. How
important was today as kind of a competitive test session, I guess, for this brand new car? Because Silverstone was so disrupted with the weather. You obviously didn't get a lap in the Grand Prix, and then this weekend with the sprint and everything else, it's given you a lot of laps.
It is, and exactly that. So I'd call this race as almost our first proper debut of the new car, and we've done a lot of mileage today. Good mileage as well. We've actually, on my side as well, I was learning quite a lot about the car during the race, seeing how it behaved. The wind was going crazy today. It was doing backflips, 180s, 360s, everything it had it. So maybe it was the orange flares just creating all these gusts of wind, but it was interesting to see, and we've got a full set of data now to have a look at before France, and we'll study that and you know, pick apart the places that obviously are better than the previous car, but also the areas that we need to work on.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, Alex.
Very much.
Appreciate it very much. Hello, Pietro.
Hello.
It was quite a Grand Prix today, a really exciting race. Great for Charles Leclerc to have him back on. Fernando Alonso drove well to P10, but he is under investigation. His third and final pit stop. The car was released in some way, shape or form that either it shouldn't have been or the car wasn't quite ready. We're not entirely sure, but he's got to go and see the stewards. It was Leclerc, race winner, from Verstappen and Hamilton. Probably not an order that we would have expected at lights out.
No, definitely not. I thought once the start happened and Verstappen was able to get a lead from the start, I thought he was going to, you know, blow away, kind of like yesterday in the sprint race, but Ferrari had a lot of pace.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I don't know if you were, but I wasn't.
I don't think he was, to be honest with you. I really don't think Max Verstappen was. This is it, because for the first time this year, we saw Ferrari take the fight to Red Bull and overtake them on track. So far this year, with Ferrari having the more pole positions, it's been Red Bull who were the ones attacking, Red Bull who took the race to Ferrari, Red Bull who overtook the Ferrari and then won the Grand Prix. Today, a total 180.
Yeah, and as we spoke before the show started, Ferrari stuck to their guns, their strategy, because when Verstappen boxed, he was doing quicker laps. I thought, oh, they're going to undercut and they're going to get the track position again, but Ferrari kept their strategy, kept their heads, and did a mega race.
And this was it. This was the first move. Charles Leclerc on Max Verstappen. Didn't quite get him at 3. Held back, got the DRS, and got a lovely run down.
Lovely run into turn 4. Not sure if he got him. Well, that's
the second move.
Well, that's a move into turn 4.
That is a move.
It's so easy to lock up there and end up hitting your competitor. That's a heck of a move there.
Or is that the first move? No, they're on medium, so that's the first move. My apologies for that. Then Verstappen came in pretty early, actually, compared to everybody else. Verstappen stopping on lap 14. Leclerc ultimately waiting, and as you said, they stuck to their guns, they stuck to their strategy. Came in lap 26, 12 laps later.
And I thought here, that's when, they lost track, and they said, was this a mistake? Should they have covered Verstappen's early stop? But they stuck to what they had, and it worked out. Passed him again into turn 2.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. On the hard tyre. And the hard tyre really came to life in those early laps, didn't it? They were putting in the 1:09s. Beautiful. Then Verstappen comes in for his second stop. Again, earlier than the Ferraris. Verstappen's second stop on lap 37. And we're thinking, are Ferrari going to play the same game? Will they wait those 12 laps? And sure enough, lap 39. Lap 49, sorry. In comes Leclerc for his second stop. It's game on at this point, and then the wonderful move, the wonderful pass, getting the job done. Leclerc back into the lead. And to be honest, it looked like it was going to be a Ferrari 1-2 because Carlos Sainz was coming in fast, hooked himself onto the back of Max Verstappen, and we're like, this is it, this is it. And then Heartache for the British Grand Prix winner as his engine let go. Huge let go for that Ferrari engine in the back.
It was definitely going to be a 1-2 because just when the engine had gone, he had DRS, you know, was going to possibly lunge into turn 4, or if not the next lap, and then boom, the engine goes, catches on fire.
It was huge. Yeah, it's this part here where it suddenly pops and goes, and then the whole rear of the car sets on fire. He can't get it into, can't either leave it in gear or get the brakes locked on, and so it starts rolling back. There's flames licking out everywhere. Carlos, though, emerges from the car. He's okay. He's just back in the media pen to our left-hand side at the moment, talking to the press. But that could be a huge turning point in this championship for Carlos Sainz. Should have been picking up 18 points today, is picking up 0 points. I guess luckily for him, Sergio Perez was already out of the race at that point, so it's only 1 Red Bull, 1 Ferrari. But with Verstappen now leading the championship, Leclerc P2, Perez 3, Sainz 4, we've just finished the first half of the season.
I know. It would have been, I mean, at least for the championship, it would have been good if you would have finished second, because then you have kind of 3 guys almost fighting for the championship, and Perez right there as well. So definitely a big blow. It's 18 points or 15 points. No, 18. I think he would have gotten past Verstappen. 18. So, yeah, definitely a shame. And it would have been good just carrying on the momentum from Silverstone. P2 finish, still very competitive in terms of speed compared to Charles.
He's looked good all weekend.
Yeah. Really
looked good all weekend. And as you said, Ferrari stuck to their guns because when Verstappen came in very early on, lap 14, we're thinking, okay, he's out on the hard tire. He's putting in 1:09. He's running at least half a second, at times 1 second a lap quicker than Leclerc. Under normal circumstances, and we've been talking about it a lot this weekend, Ferrari haven't been making the greatest of strategic decisions this year. Under any normal circumstance, we think maybe they're going to respond to this. But by the time they could have responded, it was already too late. Max had already cut the gap back. They stuck to their guns, stuck for another 12 laps because they knew when they put those hards on, they were going to have the pace. And sure enough, a second to a second and a half a lap at pace advantage, bang, up, catches, passes him. Each time with those stops, with those 2 pit stops, it was perfect from Ferrari today.
Very confident in their strategy, in the pace they had, that even with Verstappen on better tires, gonna get the undercut, they knew they had the pace to be able to stop later and still overtake Verstappen. Yeah. That's exactly what they did. And for sure, when I was, because during the races, I stay in the engineering truck looking at some of the data. And when I saw that and I saw Verstappen doing those quicker lap times, I said, man, I can't believe Ferrari aren't catching this.
Done? Yeah.
But then, no, actually, they were doing a solid job, kept to their strategy, and was going to get a 1-2.
They outgunned Red Bull today. Red Bull didn't have the answer. The deg was too high on the tires for Max Verstappen. He's admitted as much after the race today. This is not a situation that we've been used to seeing this year. Red Bull's race pace has been its strength, particularly at straight line speed. And this weekend, they just didn't have the tools to contend with that Ferrari.
Yeah, and they're usually very strong here. So I was going to think, you know, Red Bull are going to win this. They won yesterday. They're going to have a good start here and just kind of control the race, and they didn't. So I don't know if that's kind of shows what's coming. Paul Ricard is a very different track as well, and then you're going into Hungary as well, a much tighter track, very high downforce, which could play out to Ferrari in my opinion, because it's not that much of a straight line place. So
could be fascinating. Could be fascinating. Well, he looked so good all the way through this weekend. He won at the British Grand Prix. Should have finished second today. Ultimately, it's a DNF for Carlos Sainz.
Hey Carlos, it was a pretty scary moment after you retired the car. The car was sliding backwards, it was on fire, you couldn't really stop it, you couldn't really get out. Just talk me through what was going through your mind.
Yeah, it was a very tricky situation because I wanted to jump out, but the car was rolling backwards and I didn't want the car to roll back forever. And I knew I was catching a bit of fire and I was waiting for the marshals to come. They never came until quite late, so it was a bit of a moment, but nothing happened.
How frustrating was it, given you should have really been on for a minimum of P2 today?
About the race, you mean?
Yeah, you should have been on for a minimum P2 today,
yeah,
so it must be frustrating.
We were on for a very easy P2, 1-2 for the team, you know, a very big result for the team. We were very quick on the hard tire especially, and we were catching back up on Charles, which was good signs that the pace and the momentum that we were getting was very nice, but it looks to be the story of my season. As soon as we get a bit of momentum, there's something that goes wrong, and it's difficult to continue with it. But this weekend we were very quick, and should have been an easy 1-2 for the team.
Hard luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it was squeaky bum time for Charles Leclerc as well, because he had his throttle, which wouldn't completely retract, still having 20-30% throttle in the slow corners. And then he had downshift issues towards the end, so an imperfect day for Ferrari, but great fun behind as well. We had a wonderful midfield battle. Esteban Ocon coming home in P5, and behind the Haas drivers, the McLaren drivers, all getting stuck into the mix and having fun.
Yeah, and it was such a strategy battle as well. A lot of guys stopping early, some a little bit later. Talking about a good race over here.
There we go.
Good race, man.
P5. Yes, look at that smile. I mean, come on. How fun was it out there? Because we were just talking about the crazy midfield battle with the Hasses, with the McLarens, with you guys.
You guys were on fire this weekend.
Yeah, it was good, but still not quite the pace you guys had, man. You guys were flying.
But you guys were fast. I mean, Mick was really flying out there. He was keeping me awake the whole race. So, but no, I mean, it's been a great weekend. Thank you very much. And yeah, we had great pace. We've optimized, quali, sprint quali, and the race. It's 13 points in total that we score. We are tied with McLaren in P4 in the constructors. So yeah, we can be happy with the whole thing about this weekend.
That's huge to be tied with McLaren in the constructors, especially as we know they're not getting any more upgrades on that car. That's it. Every upgrade you put on your car seems to work. Every weekend you're taking steps forward.
Yeah, we are, and the team is delivering. I went to see the guys, at Composite, that build this floor, that build these side pods, wings. The guys that are working 24/7, and it makes the difference in the end. And this is what I was telling them. We need more of that to be able to fight with the Merc. We've shown today that we're in front of them, or front of one at least at one point, but still we are not able to fight for more than a P5 or P6. So the team is aware, and we have more coming. So it's working as it should, and we are really pleased with the performance.
And what a boost coming into your home Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, exactly. We go there with good confidence, for sure. French Grand Prix, I have my own grandstand as well for the first time.
Amazing.
So, yeah, there's going to be...
Just for you? You're just going to sit there?
Yeah, I'm going to go and see everyone, for sure. But yeah, it's awesome to be in France, to drive with a French car, French-British, but French car also. And yeah, I look forward to being Ricciardo.
Incidentally, do you know how fast your grandstand sold out for the Grand Prix?
No, do you know, Will?
Yeah.
How quickly?
15 seconds.
No, you're joking.
Apparently it was 15 seconds. The phone lines were jammed, and it was like,
no way.
Done. I think that sold out quicker than Glastonbury, so congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on the show,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
We'll see you in France in a few weeks. He's never not smiling at the moment, really. It's great to see. He's doing a phenomenal job. And as we were saying, those upgrades on that car, they put them on, they work straight away. The correlation is perfect. The upgrades are working. P4 in the Constructors' Championship is huge.
Yeah, it's very important. And as you said, I think that keyword correlation, because sometimes if the data isn't correlated with what they're getting on, like CFD and all the simulation they do, they produce the part. But if it's not exactly correlated, they bring the part and it doesn't produce what the results they're expecting. But with them, it's been producing results.
Yeah, absolutely huge. A team that is starting to struggle is the team that they are now matching for P4 in the Constructors. That's McLaren. They had a horrible qualifying, P15, P16, made some places up in the sprint. But today, both drivers in the points, Lando P7, Daniel P9, were able to fight with your guys a lot during the Grand Prix. They pitted early, which looked to be an interesting decision, but they came good at the end.
Yeah, I think they were kind of being careful as well with the blue flags, because when you're in that position, if you get the blue flag, I think you have 2 sectors that you need to give the position, and if you get a blue flag, you end up losing like 2-3 seconds. So they pitted early, I think, to avoid that. And as well, Norris had the 5-second penalty that he served in the pit stop. That's why he lost so many places on the first pit stop, because they were able to serve the 5-second penalty from track limits in their pit stop and then work on recovering from them.
They are in the same position that Haas has been in since the start of the season. Did you just hit yourself in the face, Lando? The water. Oh, it was water. Well, I mean, the first mistake of the day, really, because other than that,
No,
you've
it
had
wasn't. I had a 5-second penalty, so
well,
I had
other than that,
four mistakes.
We weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's stupid, huh?
Yes,
but it's also my fault. So.
You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. Great day, great. I mean, from where you guys were Friday night post-quali to where you are now, both in the points.
No,
it's not bad.
I'm happy with everything. It's been a very tough weekend just because of the amount of issues we've had. And especially when you only have one session, you're under like more stress and pressure to make a perfect setup and to figure things out and to gather information. And we didn't really gather enough information to put the car, especially a car which is probably harder to set up than normal, in the correct window. So like we've always been a few too many steps behind, and when we got to qualifying, we were like, oh, we should have, you know, if only we did a few more laps, we would have realized this and realized that and made changes. And I think some positives from all of this is we know we weren't performing at the perfect level we should have been. And if we could start the weekend again, I think we'd be in a much more competitive position, which is a good sign. And hopefully we can just bring that into the next race in wherever it is, France. But it's a very different track and so on. So we'll see. But I'm happy. Double points finish is what we wanted, is what we spoke about before the race, and that's what we achieved. So.
And you love this place. It brings something very special.
It's just the orange fans from McLaren.
No, but really, when you get hooked up around here, it's beautiful to watch. And watching you racing out there today was wonderful.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know why. It's just a track I enjoy driving. Comes to my strengths in some ways with the high speed, you know, where you need big cojones. It's just that's, and every driver has strengths and weaknesses, and the high speed is one of mine. It's where I perform well. It's where I can just feel that limit easier or better than some other drivers, and you get a lot of lap time when you have that car which can give you the confidence in the high speed and so on. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think I made my life difficult with the penalties and stuff today, but it also made it more enjoyable because I had to race back through, and you know, with the Haas guys, I had a lot of fun today. So
great stuff. Thanks for coming on the show, man. You can
no
let
worries.
you
You got no sweets or anything?
No, we used to. We were talking about this
peckish.
earlier in the weekend. This used to be the show where you could come and have like an ice pop or some sweeties or some chocolate or something. Should we start doing the ice lollies?
You know what's good? Frozen Capri Suns.
Oh, nice. Have you had a?
Put them in a freeze.
Have you ever had a frozen Five Alive? Or are you too young to remember Five Alives? Like a little juice box. You know, like the cardboard juice box, and then you just peel it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. They're good.
So what's the other one? Like these triangle ice lolly ones?
Juicies.
Are they? Oh my! I'm not.
We're giving lots of people lots of free advertising. Can we have some of those for the next show?
Thank you very much. I mean, Capri Sun already give me a load of free Capri Suns. So
do they?
Thank you very much, Capri Suns.
Okay.
I'm enjoying them.
Well, we'll get some at the next race and we'll freeze them for you, mate.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful stuff. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
There you go, folks. There's a tip for the summer. Frozen Capri Sun. Daniel Ricciardo back in the points after what has been a very difficult start to the season. And boy, he needed it because there's talk coming through, photographs coming through. There is a McLaren at Portimao. Colton Herta will be testing tomorrow for McLaren.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. I think that's good for Colton at least, you know, be able. I don't know which car is it.
It's last year's.
The last year's.
MCL 35.
It'll be definitely a good experience. You never know what can happen, you know. But yeah, for Daniel, I think did a good job today.
Yes.
He had good pace as well. He was always there, you know, staying with Lando. And
yeah, he was.
Yeah, he wasn't like falling back.
No.
He was staying he was in that rhythm, in the groove. So yeah, I mean, I like Daniel a lot. He's always been a very good guy with me, and when I did my debut in Formula One, we were in the same hotel. I went for breakfast and I asked him a couple questions. He was like super open and everything. Yeah, so he's been a great guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. Solid racer as well. Daniel Ricciardo back in the points and talking to Lawrence Barretto.
Daniel, it's so good to see you back in the points.
Thank you, Lawrence.
I just saw you chatting to Lando earlier about how tricky it was out there with the wind.
Yeah, it was certainly tricky. I mean, we don't expect it to not be tricky, but it was at times very tricky. And just, kind of just talking about how it's so hard to be consistent. Like, you know, sometimes I would have like half a second swings from one lap to the next. And then I'd say, you know, my tires are dead. And then 2 laps later, I was able to then get back down to a lap time. So it was really still very tricky. And not always that easy to understand what exactly you're going to get or what's going on, but the winds can affect that. But you know, I think also the way the tires kind of went off today, it was seemed a clear two-stop quite early in the race, where I think everyone probably thought a one-stop was likely today. So yeah, certainly had to adapt a bit on the fly, but I say adapt, we're also prepared for different scenarios. But yeah, ultimately I think it was decent to get in the points, but didn't have like some strengths of yesterday's races, didn't quite have that today, couldn't quite get the car where I wanted in a few corners where I was happy yesterday. So yeah, obviously the track changed a bit with also the rain this morning, so not sure it made life easier, but anyway, I think we put up a solid race. Nothing to spray champagne over, but I think a bit of damage limitation on a circuit which proved tricky for us this weekend.
Do you kind of leave thinking that there's still plenty of work to do across all areas, really, just to get this car into a window that you're happy with?
Yeah, I mean, there is, and to be honest, until we're winning, there's probably always going to be work, but yeah, I mean, still obviously a bit more on my side to just, yeah, a lot of the time it's so on the edge that it's just hard to read, I think, as well, and that explains some of the like inconsistency with lap times and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll keep chipping away. I think Le Castellet will show completely different kind of challenges, if you will. But I'm looking forward to going there. Looking forward to a week off. I'm glad there's no triple header, not for a while at least. Yeah, especially the sprints. Sprints, I love the sprints, but they are a bit more like intense the weekend. So yeah, I'm glad we get a weekend off now.
All right, enjoy your few days off.
Cheers, thank you.
Good to hear from Daniel Ricciardo. Pietro, does it surprise you that we're still having talk throughout this paddock over Daniel Ricciardo's future?
Yeah, he's I think 8-time Formula One race winner and stuff, so it's unfortunate the situation he's in, but I guess that's the Formula One world when you're in the kind of most competitive, I think, sport in the world. There's only 20 seats, only 20 drivers get to race, and I think there's 7 reserve drivers or something. It's there's always going to be competition of someone getting your seat. So yeah, it's unfortunate because I really like him. I think he's an amazing driver.
Same.
I think he's just been it's kind of a bit of a snowball effect, not having a couple good races, the pressure kind of adding on, and then that pressure making it even worse when you're making little mistakes and stuff. So it keeps adding on. So hopefully he can pick it back up, gain some momentum, and be back in Formula One next year, because I think he should be.
First half of the season, it was talked that Pierre Gasly might be on McLaren's shopping list. He, of course, confirmed back with AlphaTauri for next year. The talk this weekend has been that the reason we haven't heard Oscar Piastri having signed for Williams for next year, as has been heavily rumoured, is because Piastri's people are talking to McLaren in case Daniel either decides to move on or is moved on. We know that McLaren have a number of drivers within their IndyCar team who are on kind of a flexi contract. Certainly Felix Rosenqvist was signed to the IndyCar team, but we believe he will now race in Formula E rather than in IndyCar. They're looking at signing Polo, Alexander Rossi to race alongside Patricio O'Ward. They have so many drivers that they could position and move around from championship to championship if super license points permit.
Yeah, I think it's just finding the right fit, and I think all those drivers have the speed to be able to perform well in Formula One, but it's just finding the right fit, and sometimes taking a little bit, and instead of making an early decision, kind of waiting to see what happens, sometimes is best, because maybe Daniel is able to get some momentum and really deliver and prove that he should continue in Formula One.
I can't believe we'll be rolling into 2023 without Daniel Ricciardo in Formula One, but long way to go yet. Now let's look at your team and the stunning weekend that they had. First time that you've had 2. If you can't explain a stat easily, don't use the stat. Double points for the team. 2 races in a row. First time since 2018.
Yeah, almost triple points because of the sprint race.
Yes, yes. So. Although we don't call the sprint a race. We're not allowed to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, almost triple points. But it was super important for the team, as well for the constructor standings as well.
Yes, huge.
And doing it 2 weekends in a row. Because then you gain momentum, and it kind of brings confidence, at least to everybody in the team, that it's like, oh, it wasn't just a one-off that Silverstone we scored points. We scored again over here. And I know the team's working on bringing some upgrades very soon. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be a big boost as well.
And there was fire in Mick Schumacher's belly today. He was angry with the team yesterday, wanted them to put team orders in to allow him past Kevin. Gunther said after the sprint, well, of course you were faster than Kevin. You had DRS and he didn't. We were within our rights to do what we did today. Mick wanted to get out there and show the world that he was the faster driver of the two, and he was. He won driver of the day, put in a blistering performance.
Yeah, he drove really great, and I think he understood after yesterday what happened. It was because, you know, Hamilton was too close to be able to give up the position. It was kind of similar today. We got into a situation where it was like that in the beginning. And then after the pit stop sequences, he was able to overtake Kevin and drove a brilliant race.
It was absolutely sensational. Some beautiful moves he put on. Here's one on the McLaren. He was just loving it, absolutely loving life out there today, Mick Schumacher. This was a lot of fun to watch. 5 cars, all going for the same piece of tarmac.
And that's what you want to see in Formula One.
Absolutely, mate.
How many teams are there in that battle? That's like
three, four teams in
that.
that. Yeah, sensational. But it was his spatial awareness, his track positioning, everything about the way Mick raced today was really impressive. It was calm, it was considered. He didn't squeeze anyone. I think he drove beautifully.
Yeah, very good, executed well. As well, sometimes when you had to go quick because other guys are trying to undercut, he went quick, and this is when he was able to overtake Kevin.
Yeah.
Had clean air, and
as I said, he drove, you know, beautifully and didn't squeeze anyone. There was a little question mark from Lando as to whether he moved under braking just on the run up to turn 3.
I didn't see
I'm not
that.
expecting an impartial reaction from you on that. Why don't we hear from one of your teammates, though, right now, Kevin Magnussen in the TV pen.
Congratulations, more points on the board. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, what a weekend for our team. It's really been great, and you know, finally we had a bit of luck. It kind of went our way, and you know, after those 4 or 5 races recently that weren't good for us, but we had the pace. You know, it's hard not to get down a little bit about it. And now, you know, the last 2 races we've been lucky, and you know, especially this weekend, we just had a great qualifying, great sprint qualifying, and then a great race. So I'm super happy. I had a bit of an engine issue all race, so I was just praying to God that it wouldn't blow up, which it didn't. So I'm super thankful for that I was able to finish the race with that problem.
And you're kind of delivering these kind of performances without any upgrades. This must bode well for when they come for the future.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it is exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing whether, you know, I'm not getting nervous for that upgrade. Maybe we shouldn't use it at all. No, I mean, it's very exciting and a great position.
Great stuff, congrats.
Thank you.
Happy faces all round at Haas. Now let's talk about Mercedes. They have now not been on, well, they've been on the podium every race. I think Monaco was the last race they weren't on the podium. What a run of form from Mercedes.
yeah, super good. And I think after Silverstone, the car was very strong over there. We didn't think they were going to be as strong over here in Austria.
No.
And I mean, okay, they weren't as strong as they were in Silverstone because they had a bit of a gap now to Ferrari and Red Bull. But in a track where they didn't think that they were going to perform, they did executed super well.
Supreme job. Obviously, Lewis starting quite far back in the sprint yesterday, making positions up, had a big fight on his hands today. George Russell driving with the far larger rear wing because they didn't have the newer track-specific wing for him after he damaged his in that crash in qualifying as well. So George doing a great job, Lewis doing a great job, Lewis back on the podium, George bringing it home P4. It's exactly what Mercedes need to be doing, and again, capitalizing on a day when one Red Bull and one Ferrari didn't finish.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't have the car to be winning, but you got to make the most out of it. And they've the beginning of the year, it wasn't like that, but they've been able to, get some momentum, get some form going. And as soon as they have the car that's, ready to win races, they're all executing. I mean, strategy, obviously Lewis and George, as soon as the car's there, they're going to be winning.
And it could have been all over for George on lap 1, coming down there into turn 4 side by side with Sergio Perez. I think we can take a replay of it actually and just see what happened between the two of them. Ultimately, it was Perez who ran off into the gravel. Here's the onboard with George Russell. Talk us through it from a driver's perspective.
It's that corner, turn 4. I mean, it's always like that. As soon as the guy on the inside has a little bit of front locking or a slow locking where you can't even see it, you end up hitting the guy on the outside, and it's for sure the guy on the inside has to be aware of that because everybody knows. I think he got a penalty for that. George did. I believe he got a 5-second penalty.
Did he?
I think he did, and then he served it in the pit stop.
He did get a 5-second. He got a 5-second penalty for that.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't
so many 5-second penalties. I wasn't sure if it was for that or if it was for track limits.
I think it was for that, and he served it in the. If I'm not mistaken, he served it in the pits. But it's always the guy who's on the inside. It's his responsibility to not let the car wash out and hit the driver on the outside.
Well, with Lewis Hamilton back on the podium, I guess no better time to hear from Toto Wolff, who I'm sure will be extremely happy with the day's result.
Toto, congratulations on another podium for Lewis, consecutive 3 times now, and also a strong P4 for George. How do you reflect on that race as a whole?
I think if you look at the result, that's okay, 3rd and 4th, but we're just lacking these 2-3 tenths that we need in order to be part of the racing in the front.
Of course, in Silverstone, we saw you take a sizable step forward with the upgrades. You were cautious coming into this weekend, saying that you weren't expecting it to be as much of a performance gain around this track. Do you feel that the lack of pace today, it was due to the track, or do you think that it is because the upgrades maybe are not showing up as well as you initially thought they had?
No, I think that track always been a bit of an annoying one for us. I mean, I love it to be here. It's my home track. But the car was never happy, even in the years where we've been really dominant. Somehow it wouldn't go. So we need to take that.
And in terms of the upgrades, looking ahead, we have France and Hungary coming up. Are you feeling optimistic for France? The talk has been that that's a track that you will hopefully be able to excel at, but coming from the team boss, what do you think?
Yeah, I think like Silverstone, it's a track that on paper should suit us a little bit more. Whether that's the case, we shall see in 2 weeks.
And how is the atmosphere within the team? It's been a tough start to the season. Lots of work, lots of long hours, I imagine. But how is the energy within the team and the momentum now that you're getting these podiums?
It's good in a way. You reset your expectations, and you finish 3rd and 4th, and you're okay with that. Last year we would have seen it as a catastrophe. So it's healthy. That's how it should be, and the spirits are really high.
Thank you so much for your time, Toto.
Thank you.
As if by magic, George Russell has appeared. George, congratulations, P4 today, with a car that was not as ideally suited to this track as you would have wished. Obviously, spare parts not as plentiful as you would have hoped, but a great job considering that wasn't the ideal car for you today.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously frustrating to start the race as we did, having the contact with Checo. I thought the penalty was a bit harsh, but then obviously taking the damage, which cost me a huge amount of lap time in the first stint, probably a second a lap. And then obviously we got the pit stop, 5-second penalty. So we was 20 seconds extra coming out last. Made it quite a tricky afternoon, but coming back P4 is good, but I feel like we could have been on the podium today.
And I know your folks have been here this weekend. How nice is it to have them around?
Yeah, I mean, my parents, prior to COVID times, they came to every single race and supported me since day one. So, you know, they enjoy it, and it's always great to have that support, and they normally just stay out of the way, do their thing, and just like being here.
Nice. We move to France next. Silverstone was so good for you and the team. The upgrades appear to work really well. And I know you weren't expecting to be as fast here as you were there, with France mooted as the next track that could really suit you guys. Is there a level of excitement, anticipation about the French Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a yo-yo recently, ever since Barcelona really. We sort of took a big step up in Barcelona, but then we had the 3 tricky races with the street circuits, and Silverstone was another a bump up in performance, and then maybe it's slightly back to reality here. But no, it's exciting to see what we can achieve in the next couple of races, but the 2 teams ahead of us have definitely got the measure at the moment. We know there's some changes coming with some regulations that will probably compromise other teams more than us, as some have been pushing the boundaries a little bit further than the interpretation. So let's see how that all pans out.
Lovely stuff. We'll let you get on, mate. Thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, look, he said ups and downs and yo-yos and all of this, but you know what? If a podium this weekend is kind of, you know, not quite up to the level that they were expecting, it's not looking too bad for Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, they're on an upswing now, and yeah, if you kind of don't have a great day and you're still on the podium compared to how they were in the beginning of the year, yeah, I think it's definitely looking a lot brighter. And I think it's interesting what he said about the regulations and stuff, maybe that mixing things up. When does, do you know when that comes into play?
Keeps getting delayed.
It keeps getting delayed.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Belgium now. So after give the teams the summer break when they're on shutdown anyway.
So they can't work
so
on
they
anything.
Can't work anyway. But yes, keep
Theoretically.
Theoretically, and then it'll get changed again, and then it'll get moved back again, and who knows? But yes, theoretically, Belgium. We don't know who it's going to affect more than any others because we don't know who's been stretching.
There's always a grey area.
There's all, and as Christian Horner asked, is there such a thing as the intention of the regulations, or is there just the regulations? Is there grey within the black and white of what is
There's
printed?
always grey.
There's always
It's
grey.
motorsport.
Lovely stuff. Let's hear from Lewis Hamilton, P3. Yeah, that camera, P3, the Austrian Grand Prix.
Hey, Lewis.
Hi, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks.
Did you tell her to tell me to tell you?
honestly not. So, thanks, guys.
Good.
Lewis, congratulations. Third podium on the bounce. How do you feel?
Yeah, honestly, I really feel great. I'm so happy with today. Especially after such a difficult start to the weekend. We were looking so good in qualifying, and then I crashed the damn thing. So getting your head back around that, knowing the team worked so hard to build a new car for me, and naturally that affects everything. It affects our budget, affects so many people who have to build new parts. So that's never a great feeling. But to get back up there and get some good points for the team is hopefully some small token of my appreciation, I guess, and really amazing to get a third and fourth.
And then looking at the gap, though, I guess to Red Bull and Ferrari just shows how much work I guess there is still to do.
Yeah, still. I mean, I don't know why they were so quick here. Well, I don't know. We'll just keep pushing. I think we're not too bad. I think some of our laps were comparable. So yeah, we're slowly getting there. We just need to keep chipping away.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Still a bit of needle between Lewis and Max, it seemed, in the cool-down room. They're not exactly on each other's Christmas card lists still. There's a much warmer relationship between Max and Charles. It's actually been really interesting to see Max and Charles after the races, how they're kind of debriefing each other, even out in Parc Fermé before they disappear off.
Yeah, and you kind of see that too. I think there was a certain point where Max stopped and Hamilton was out, had the track position, and he actually was fighting hard to keep Max behind. But I mean, that's racing. I think that's good. I think unfortunately it's a bit with the fans as well. You see a lot of this kind of rivalry, which I don't think is very positive in my opinion. I mean, you should support whoever your driver is, but I don't think you should ever wish anything negative to your competitor.
Agreed.
So that's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, rivalry is always good in any sport, but it has to be positive.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Let's hear then from Max Verstappen. Would so much have wished to win here in front of a capacity more than 100,000 fans, of which I would say about 85% were bedecked in orange for him. Wasn't to be his day, though. P2 at the flag for Max Verstappen.
Hey, Max. Considering the pace of the car, I guess in that middle phase of the race, are you pretty pleased with seconds?
Yes, better than I expected at one point during the race, but of course, after Carlos encountered his issues, we had another shot at it. But I think overall, we were just lacking a bit of pace throughout the race, and we were just struggling on the time management, which is a bit confusing at the moment, which we need to understand a bit better, because normally we are quite okay on that.
I was going to say, are you surprised by that? Because really, throughout the weekend, you felt pretty comfortable, didn't you, with all sorts?
It felt all right, but even yesterday in the sprint race, they looked very quick at the end. So I always expected it to be close, but I didn't expect them to be this quick.
Thanks.
Now, it's interesting to hear Max say that, because we were asking the question yesterday in the post-sprint show, when the Ferraris were gaining on Verstappen towards the end of the race, was that Max just easing off, or was that true Ferrari pace? And we didn't have the answer. Now we do, and now Max does.
Yeah, I thought that he was easing back, actually, because he had the lead, and there's a whole track limit thing that you never want to get a silly penalty because of that. So I actually thought he was easing back, but no, that was actually true Ferrari pace.
Yeah, true Ferrari pace on the day today has seen Charles Leclerc, P1, back on the top step of the podium. His team boss, Mattia Binotto, I'm sure will be delighted, but in equal measure, hugely disappointed that it wasn't the 1-2 that it could and should, by rights, have been. One DNF, but one driver back on the top step of the podium.
Mattia, that was tense until the last moment, but congratulations on the race win. How important was that win for Charles in terms of the championship?
Was certainly important, not for the championship itself, but I think for his moral, his mood. And it was important to win, to stay ahead of Max, to prove that we are still capable of winning races, and sometimes we are unlucky, but not always unlucky. So I'm very pleased to know that today he got it. It was an important race, it was an important win. Now it's two for Ferrari. It's 2 wins in a row, both in Silverstone in Austria, which I think it's a pleasure for us to come to their home race and win. But more than that, I think to show that the car is still performing very well and the drivers are in good shape. And now we got 2 other races to the summer break. They will be again very important. And but we know that we can go there and certainly try to win as well.
It wasn't smooth sailing. We saw the concerns with Charles towards the end of the race and also, of course, Carlos's retirement. Can you tell us any more about what the issues were with both cars?
No, I cannot yet because I think we need to look at the car and at the parts and try to understand what happened. But reliability remains a concern. I think that the reason why we are not fully happy today, somehow disappointed, because it could have been even a better Sunday. And maybe I want to, certainly could have been possible today, and that would have been great. But having said that, I think there are a lot of positives from today, and we're keeping focused and keep pushing because it's the only thing we can do.
Recently, there's been lots of discussion about the strategy choices within Ferrari. Today, was there any discussion or worries about strategy? Because when they pitted Max early, were you tempted to pit one of your drivers?
I think there have been a lot of discussion around us, but between us, certainly a lot less. And there is clarity within the team on what we are doing. The team is united. And once again, I think today it has shown that we can work together and we're capable of doing it. And I'm pleased for Charles. I'm disappointed for Carlos, as I was the opposite last week.
And finally, like as you said, we have the 2 races before the summer break. A bit of momentum building behind you. How do you feel for the remaining 2 before summer?
I think that positive momentum is important for us. And it's now in 2 weeks we got France. I'm pretty sure that Red Bull will work very hard, try to address the problems they got this weekend. They did it straight after Australia, and they're capable of doing it. So we know that they will come there very strong, but we know as well that our car is competitive and our drivers are in good shape. So we will try to be very strong there because, as I said before, there will be important races for us for the championships, and we have proved that we are capable of winning.
Congratulations once again. Thank you for talking to us.
Great to hear from Mattia. Great questions from Ariana. I love that she popped the strategy question to him. That was great. Yeah, and as he said, no, we were calm, we were cool, stuck to the guns. Very nice, very nice. Charles Leclerc, how much will this mean to him? It had been 3 months since he stood on the top step at the podium, 2 months since he even stepped on a podium. I mean, this is huge for the championship for him.
Yeah, and it's important, I think, because, it always gets a bit blown up by, the media and stuff, which is normal, but...
You're part of it now.
Yeah, but that inter-team battle and stuff, so I think for him it was like, boom, I won. Now, 2 more races before the summer break. If he keeps that lead, I think it kind of sets a little bit. I know there's no number 1, number 2 driver, but, it helps a little bit break.
If he takes that momentum.
If he takes the momentum, yes.
And delivers in France, delivers in Hungary, stretches the gap over Carlos, he will be in a position where he can go to Mattia in the summer break and say, you've got to now think seriously about this.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't happen because I want to see them racing. Like, let's say as a fan, not as a racing driver, I want to see them racing, and I think Sainz can really deliver as well.
And he was so good this weekend. We can't say that enough. Carlos was exceptional this weekend.
For sure. So both, I think, can win races and win the championship, and but at least that kind of, at least for him, after not having many podiums in a row, and boom, back to the victory lane, and 2 races to go. It's pretty good.
Totally agree. Let's hear then from your race winner, Charles Leclerc. Last time he stood on the top step of the podium was as far back, believe it or not, as Australia. But he has to wait no longer. He is a winner once more.
Charles, well, you've given Ferrari a great present today. What a great victory. You must be delighted. First win since Australia. I can see the smile on your face.
Yeah, I'm very happy, obviously. It's been 5 races that I keep coming to the track, I keep smiling, and you keep being optimistic, but obviously it's been very, very difficult on the other hand to just have races after races, some disappointments. No, so to finally show our pace, to finally win another race is feeling particularly good. But obviously we need to look at what happened on Carlos' side, because reliability is still a problem, and we need to get on top of this.
From a performance perspective though, you guys were the quickest car this weekend, so going forward at least, that must give you a ton of optimism.
Yeah, we were very, very strong in the race pace today especially, so yeah, this is very positive.
Great stuff, congrats.
Thank you.
Right, that is your top three. That is your post-race show. I've just been on socials to see if I could find out anything about Fernando Alonso. No news yet. But I did see that, as per, words of mine have been misconstrued. It's all kicking off because I said I can't believe that we won't be seeing Daniel in Formula One in 2023. I didn't mean it like... I thought I made it quite clear. I meant not I can't believe Daniel's not going to be in Formula One in 2023. I meant...
I understood what you meant.
I can't believe that he won't be.
That he's being considered not to be, because...
See, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. He's a mega driver. I think he should be in Formula One, no doubt.
Right, that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Charles Leclerc is a race winner once again in Formula One after a brilliant drive here in Austria. And what a couple of races. What a run of races we've been having this season. Incredible action all the way through the field. Mercedes back in the fight. Red Bull and Ferrari really just taking little chunks out of each other, race by race by race. You never know who's going to be on top, no matter which circuit we go to. France is in 2 weeks' time. Pietro, will you be there?
I'll definitely be there, yeah.
Excellent news. We hope that you will be there as well, folks. Join us for everything here on F1 TV from the start to the end. It will all be here for you on F1 TV. For now, though, from Pietro, from me, from Ariana, from Lawrence, from everyone behind the scenes that you don't see, and our dear friend... Do you know what? We're losing people so quickly at the moment. We lost Natalie in Monaco, and now Tom Bowker. I almost fired Sam at the same time. Tom Bowker is leaving us. You don't know Tom, but he has been instrumental in creating what Formula One Digital has been over the last 5 years. We will miss him so much, such a critical part of our team. Good luck, Tom. And folks, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in France. For now, though, from all of us, we'll see you next time.